Welcome to this week's book club discussion. And today we're going to be diving into chapter 5 of Jonathan Haidt's The Anxious Generation, where he introduces what he calls the 4 foundational forms of excessive screen use. And these are hidden but powerful ways technology is reshaping childhood. And it's not always for the better. Because there's so much to unpack, we'll break the discussion into 2 parts. First session, we will focus on the first 2 foundational forms, social deprivation and sleep deprivation. Both are essential for healthy childhood development, yet both are increasingly at risk in a world where kids spend more time on screens and less time engaging in real-life connections. So let's explore what Haidt has to say, reflect on our own experiences, and discuss how we can help our kids build healthier habits. So Haidt says on page 115, I'm going to read it to you. The opening of smartphones to third-party apps led to fierce competition among companies, large and small, to create the most engaging mobile apps. He says a little further down, by the early 2010s, our phones had transformed from Swiss Army knives, which we pulled out when we needed a tool, to platforms upon which companies competed to see who could hold on to eyeballs the longest. Let's take a moment to reflect on this. So Haidt's metaphor of a Swiss Army knife evolving into a platform for competition is really quite an extraordinary commentary about technology. These devices, which were once designed to assist us, now serve as conduits for harm if we don't approach their use with care and intention. So think about it. Early smartphones helped us to solve problems, calling a friend, navigating in a new city, or snapping a quick photo. These were all tools we controlled. But with the introduction of third-party apps, something changed. Our devices stopped waiting for us to pull them out when we need it. Instead, they began demanding our attention at every turn, competing to keep us engaged as long as possible. And this transformation didn't happen by accident. The tech industry, armed with vast resources and behavioral science, engineered these apps to be irresistibly engaging. Every swipe, notification, and autoplay feature is designed to hook us and our kids into endless loops of scrolling and tapping. And when kids are the users, the risks are even higher. How often do we hear phrases like, just one more game, or a quick check on social media from our children, or even ourselves, only to realize hours have vanished? Haidt reminds us that it isn't a matter of personal discipline. It's an intentional design, one that exploits our natural tendencies and vulnerabilities. This shift can have profound implications in how we parent in the digital age. How do we teach our children to see devices as tools and not temptations? How do we help them build awareness and resilience needed to navigate engineered distractions? This brings us to an important question. How do we make these lessons relatable to our kids? Stories are a great place to start. Imagine sitting down with your child and sharing this story. We'll call it Mia and the Puzzle Challenge. Mia was obsessed with solving puzzles. Not just little ones you find on a coffee table. Mia loved the massive 1,000-piece challenges. One weekend, she found a puzzle of a starry night sky at the store, and she knew she had to have it. As soon as she got home, she cleared a spot on the dining room table and got to work. Piece by piece, the image started to take shape. Hours passed, then the entire day. Mia missed soccer practice. She forgot to text her friend back about a group project and only stopped when her mom reminded her to eat dinner. The next morning, Mia woke up with a nagging feeling. Her friend was upset about the unfinished project. Her soccer coach wanted to know why she hadn't shown up, and her little sister was hurt because they were supposed to bake cookies together. That evening, Mia's dad sat down with her and said, "It's okay to love puzzles, Mia, but it's important to remember the other pieces of your life too. Your friends, your team, your family. Think of your life and your time as a big puzzle. If you spend too much on one part, the rest doesn't come together." Mia thought about it and realized he was right. So she decided to save her puzzle time for after homework or on quiet Sunday afternoons. That week, she made it to soccer, helped her sister bake, and earned a high five from her friend because she finished their project. And When she went back to her Starry Night puzzle, it was even more satisfying. Now, I want you to ask your child, have you ever been so focused on one thing that other stuff was forgotten? And what do you think helped Mia find balance again? Now that we've reflected on these challenges and shared a relatable story that you can tell your kid and some questions you could ask them, let's focus on practical strategies that you can take as parents. So here are 3 actionable steps you can try immediately. Number 1, set device-free times. Designate 1 or 2 parts of the day for everyone, including you as parents, to unplug during meals or maybe an hour before bed. Number 1, set device-free times. Designate 1 or 2 parts of the day where everyone, including you as parents, unplug, maybe during meals or an hour before bedtime. Number 2, help kids set goals. Encourage them to use their devices with intention. For example, suggest finishing homework or chores first, then using their screen. And number 3, talk about the hook. Explain how apps and games are designed to keep us engaged. Just as Mia realized she needed balance with her puzzles, helping kids understand the why behind their devices can empower them to take control. Helping kids build healthy tech habits is crucial, but just as important is recognizing what excessive screen time is replacing. One of the biggest losses, real social interaction. And that brings us to our first foundational harm, social deprivation. Haidt writes on page 121, I'm going to read it. Sitting alone in your bedroom, consuming a bottomless feed of other people's content, or playing endless hours of video games with a shifting cast of friends and strangers, or posting your own content and waiting for other kids or strangers to like or comment is so far from what children need that these activities should not be considered healthy forms of adolescent interactions. They are alternatives that consume so much time that they reduce the amount of time teens spend together. And this quote is a pretty harsh reality. What looks like socializing through screens often is just an illusion of connection. While kids might feel engaged, they're missing out on the depth of real life friendships, the kind built through shared experiences, laughter, and physical presence. When you think about it, when we were kids, our social lives revolved around real interactions, bike rides, neighborhood games, long phone calls, where we actually talked. Today, many kids spend their free time alone, scrolling, gaming, and waiting for digital approval. They're not developing the skills that come from reading facial expressions, handling disagreements in real time, or simply enjoying unstructured play. Take some time to sit down with your child and share this story, and we'll call it the empty field. Patrick used to love playing soccer with his friends after school. Every afternoon, they'd run to the park, split into teams, and play until the streetlights flickered on. Games weren't perfect. Sometimes there were arguments over fouls of who got to be goalie, but they always worked it out. Then one day, Patrick discovered a soccer video game. It was so realistic, with cool graphics and online tournaments where he could compete against players all over the world. At first, he played after school and went to the park, but soon he found himself skipping the real games. Why rush outside and when he could play in his own room? No arguing, no sweating, and no waiting for his turn. A few months later, Patrick decided to check out the park again. When he got there, the field was empty. His friends had moved on, some to new hobbies, others playing with kids who still showed up. Patrick was so caught up in his screen that he hadn't realized what he was missing out on until it was too late. When you finish the story, ask your child, have you ever skipped something fun in real life because a game or video felt easier? What do you think Patrick learned from his empty field? Patrick's story is a reminder that digital connections can't replace real life. So, how do we help our kids prioritize real social interactions? Let me give you 3 simple steps that you can use today. Number 1, create real life social opportunities. Encourage your child to meet with friends in person, whether it's a sport practice, a game night, or just hanging out. Make it a priority. Number 2, balance online and offline social time. If your child loves gaming or social media, don't just take it away. Help them to find real-world activities that give them the same fun and connection. And number 3, be an example. Kids mirror our habits. Show them the value of face-to-face conversations by putting your phone down and prioritizing real connections. While social deprivation affects how kids connect with others, there's another major harm of excessive screen use that happens in the quiet hours of the night. Sleep deprivation is becoming one of the most overlooked but damaging consequences of our always online culture. And that brings us to the second foundational harm, sleep deprivation. The Haidt rates on page 123, and I'm going to read it to you. He said, "Is it just a coincidence, or is there evidence directly linking the upsurge in sleep problems to the arrival of the phone-based childhood?" He said that there is a study or a correlation of studies that show high social media use and poor sleep, and also a link between high social media use and poor mental health outcomes. And then he also adds on page 124, one experiment found that adolescents who restricted their use of screen devices after 9 p.m. on school nights for 2 weeks showed increased sleep time, earlier sleep onsets, and improved performance on a task that required focused attention and quick reactions. And this research confirms what many parents have suspected. Screen time before bed, it's not a harmless habit. It's actively disrupting sleep and mental health. Scrolling through social media, watching videos, and playing games late at night exposes kids to blue light, which tricks their brain into staying alert. And in the emotional ups and downs of online interactions, it's no surprise that sleep deprivation is skyrocketing among teens. But the effect goes beyond just feeling tired. Poor sleep affects mood, focus, academic performance, and even physical health. Without enough rest, kids are more likely to feel anxious, irritable, and struggle with self-control. Good news, well, Haidt's research also shows that small changes like setting a screen curfew can make a significant difference in sleep quality and overall well-being. So imagine sitting down with your child and sharing this story. PJ and the Midnight Challenge. PJ prided himself on being the fastest on the track team. He had a big race coming up, and his coach kept reminding him, rest is just as important as training. But PJ had this habit. Every night after saying goodnight to his parents, he'd sneak in his phone under the covers for just a few minutes of scrolling, a couple of funny videos, and maybe a quick round of his favorite game. But somehow every night, just a few minutes turned into an hour or more. The morning of the race, PJ felt sluggish. His legs were heavy and his reflexes weren't as sharp as usual. When the starting whistle blew, he tried to push through, but in his final lap, he knew something was off. He finished the race, but not in first place. That afternoon, PJ's coach sat him down and said, "Your training has been great, but I have to ask you, are you getting enough sleep?" PJ hesitated. He hadn't thought about it much before. He trained hard, he ate well, but those late night screen sessions, maybe they were hurting him more than he realized. That night, he made a change. Put his phone on the desk instead of under his pillow. And it felt weird at first, but after a few nights of real sleep, he noticed the difference: more energy, better focus, and faster sprint times. And when the next big race came around, PJ was ready. Ask your child after reading the story, have you ever stayed up late watching videos or playing games and felt extra tired the next day? What do you think helped PJ get back on track? And for you as parents, here are 3 simple steps that you can implement. Number 1, set a screen curfew. Encourage kids to put devices away at least an hour before bedtime. And if possible, keep screens out of their bedrooms altogether. Number 2, create a wind down routine. Replace nighttime scrolling with calming activities like reading, journaling, or even listening to music with the lights dimmed. And number 3, explain the sleep performance connection. Talk to kids about how good sleep helps them in ways they care about. Better focus in school, faster reflexes in sports, and improved mood overall. We've covered a lot today, from the impact of social deprivation to the hidden cost of sleep loss. These foundational harms aren't abstract ideas. They're daily challenges affecting our kids in real ways. The next time, we're going to continue exploring the remaining harms and dive deeper into how we can help our kids build healthier habits. In the meantime, try out some of the small changes that we've suggested. Till the next time.